Good evening and welcome to Summit High School, WCTV's Friday night game of the week. The Summit Spartans are hosting the Centennial Cougars here this evening. We have a interesting matchup tonight. We have a Centennial with six from the Region 6 6A and Summit Region 5 5A. Nice little matchup here. My name is Parker Hazard. I'm going to be giving you play-by-play this evening. Alongside my dad, Terry Hazard, going to be spotting for me and hopefully giving me a little bit of color commentating as we have the kickoff from Centennial. It's received by the 20-yard line. And it is breaking free on the left side of the field. Looks like stepped out of bounds there. Was returned by number 40. That was Nick Johnson there on the return. So with the ball on the 38-yard line, the Summit Spartans will be starting off their first possession of the evening. So starting quarterback, Sam Durham, under center here. Takes a snap and pitches it left. Looks like that was Ty Carter for a positive gain there.
Number 13, Ty Carter takes the pitch. He'll run behind his left tackle. Pick up a few and tackled by number 75, Cameron Saluso.
So the starting lineups tonight for the Summit offense. We have Sam Durham, like I mentioned, at quarterback. Ty Carter and George Odumegu and Robert Holmes at running back. Danny Jackson, Nick Johnson, Mason Leatherwood, Trevor Keel, Ethan Cochran, Justin Woodsley, and Cody Davis running off the offensive line for the Spartans as they have second down and 6. Toss to the right is Ty Carter. Changes field, reverses it to the left and has some room. Ty Carter showing off that speed.
Number 13, Ty Carter, he's going to run right.
Looks like number 4 Wilson there on the tackle. So the defensive starters for Summit, we have Trevor Jones, Caden Carter, Jackson Kress, the lineman, Josh Bowen, Ryan Fairley, Ryan Newby, Hannon, Coffey, Fleming, Trey Carlton, and Jerry Wilson finishing up the defensive starters for the Cougars. So after a positive run by Carter, the Spartans start off on first down. And Carter takes it again for another gain right there, about 6 yards. So an interesting note here for the Spartans. The starting quarterback, Durham, is a senior, and he is filling in the void the past few weeks for Ethan Cash's absence. Has done a very good job, kept that winning streak alive, which is now at 7 in a row for the Spartans. Also Durham, being a senior, this is his first year playing quarterback for the Spartans. Played through middle school and kind of skipped out, and now is a fill-in quarterback and is doing a great job for them, keeping their winning ways alive as George Odumegu takes it off tackle to the right side for a first down.
Tackle's going to be made by number 9, Trayvon Coffey, but not before Odumegu crosses.
So number 9, Coffey with the tackle there, able to stop Odumegu from getting any extra yards. You know, partner, there's Summit showing that running offensive attack that has not been able to be stopped. And even Centennial's coach was talking about, you know where it's going, and you know they're going to run it. It doesn't matter how many people you have in the box. They still are able to run, and untouched or touched with the power, they're able to keep it going. And just been something that other defenses have not been able to stop. Odumegu gets another carry for about 3 there. As we see Coach Coleman on the sidelines, continues to do a great job with this Summit team. You know, starting from no varsity team, no wins up until now, being 7-1, leading the region and just continues to surge forward. As there's a give there. Looks like number 31, Jolly, gets down to about the 15-yard line. And number 3, Kevin Townsend there with the tackle. So as Summit surges ahead on their first possession, we have 8 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Taking some time off the clock are the Spartans. They give to Odumegwu. A little bit of a jet sweep action there, going out, forced out of bounds.
Number 23, Odumegwu, runs left, and he'll get the corner before he's dragged down by number 39, Parker Ellison.
So he was able to get out to the 39. That was Parker Ellison there for the tackle. That's a good name. So at the 11-yard line, the Spartans had the ball, 2nd and 4. Durham takes the snap and pitches it to the right to Carter.
Number 13, Ty Carter takes the pitch.
He's able to make it to around the 3-yard line.
Get down to the 2-yard line, and it's good for the Bucks.
That's going to give them a first down and goal. As Ty Carter comes off the field, getting a fresh set of replacements there for the Spartans, as number 24, Peyton Craig, comes in to fill the void in the running back position here in the red zone. And Craig does take the give, and he is stuffed at the line. Great push there for the Cougar defense. Saw that run coming the whole entire way and were able to keep him from getting any type of positive game. Looks like he got about a half a yard.
The carry goes for 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and goal, the ball and the run.
So we have 2nd and 1 from the 1-yard line of the Cougars. Got a jumbo set package from both teams. Durham takes the snap, gives to Craig as he's fighting forward and is able to cross the goal line for a touchdown for the Spartans. Number 24, Peyton Craig. Spartans were able to drive down the field after a great return off the kickoff and never turned back. Ran the ball all the way down the field. Were able to get a touchdown by their senior running back. And, you know, Peyton Craig's also been able to come in situations to give the other backs a rest and show off his speed, and able to score there for the Spartans, as Sloganoff is able to make the extra point. So that puts Summit up 7-0 here in the first quarter. 7 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. And we'll see what Coach Kreisky and the Cougars can do, as we see Craig on the replay is able to follow some good blocks. Good blocks there and get over the line by Robert Holmes there on the good push up front. So as mentioned before, yes, this is not a regional matchup. No playoff implications or standing adjustments. But it should be a fun game because Coach Coleman at Summit and Kreisky, good friends, former colleagues at different places. I know for sure Forest High School is one of them. But watching the coaches show and getting some info from them, it was very entertaining to watch the two good friends. And should be an actually interesting matchup because you know Coach Kreisky over there on the Cougar sidelines really wants to give Coach Coleman and the Summit team a run for their money tonight, and I think they'll do just that. So as Sloganoff gets his special teams set up here to kick it away to the Cougars. It is a pooch kick, and it is fielded at the 25. Trying to switch directions on the field was number 3, Kevin Townsend, and was able to go nowhere. Great job by the special team defense of the Spartans. Number 5, Weldon, they're able to bring him down.
The Cougars will have the ball at their own 25-yard line.
So with the first possession of the Cougars on offense, they will be starting at the 25-yard line. See if they can counter the touchdown that the Spartans were able to get. The shotgun. Trey Stewart takes a snap, goes over to the right side. Deep pass there. Looks like a little bit of miscommunication
Trey Stewart's pass is incomplete intended for number 22.
with his receiver. That was number 22,
Second down and 10.
Tavion Fleming. Trey Stewart already showing off that live arm that he has. As we see here, it looks like a pretty good read. Just a little bit of miscommunication with his receiver. So after the incompletion, Stewart starts in the pistol formation with Wilson at his back, and he gives it to Wilson, trying to find some room on the right side. And he might have been able to make it back to the line of scrimmage, I'm not sure. But as we see the starting offensive starters for the Cougars, Stewart, as mentioned, at quarterback, Wilson and Townsend, Wee, Fleming, Anderson, Jones, Szymanski, Grupa, Spears, and Staple finishing off the offensive line for the Cougars. So as Wilson was able to make it back to the line of scrimmage, that's going to leave the Cougars with a 3rd and long from their own 25-yard line. Takes a snap, looks to the right side, and it is almost picked off there by number 7. That was Jatavion Hayes in the coverage, able to read the quarterback's eyes and jump the route. So as mentioned, the defensive starters, we have Braden Stem, Chance Droz, Christian Arnold, Christian Jarley, Holmes, Johnson, Myers, Ty Carter, Jatavion Hayes, Jacob Douglas, and Matt Szymanski finishing off the defensive starters for the Spartans. As the punt is off and running, and oh no, it looks like Jatavion Hayes attempted to go after the ball, but it looks like with the Spartans keeping possession, he did not touch it, and they were able to regain the spot. It looks like it's going to be around the 37-yard line. So good stand by the Spartans defense, able to force a 3 and out. As we see, I don't know, Terry. It looks like Jatavion Hayes actually might have kicked the ball. You see the misdirection of the ball there.
Number 24, Peyton Craig takes the pitch.
Nonetheless,
Get across the 40-yard line, bring it up to the 40.
Spartans do keep possession.
Tackle is going to be made by number 22, Tavion
We know these
Fleming.
referees here,
The carry
high school
goes
football,
for
have
7, second down and 3.
a handily task at hand. Can't see everything, but in the live showing of it did not look like he touched it. But nonetheless, we have second down and 3 for the Spartans. Durham hands off to Peyton Craig, and he's able to find some space, able to spin away from some tacklers, and is going to get the first down there. A committee of Cougars were able to take him down, along with Tavion Fleming and Jeriel Wilson there for the stop. So as usual, the Spartans are looking to give a heavy dose of the ground attack. A little misdirection give to Odemegu. He's able to find some space, and he is off to the races on the left side, and he is in for the score. George Odemegu showing off some wheels. Great blocking up front by the Summit offensive line, and even the fellow running backs. They were able to get on the edge and make some space for Odemegu. And once he was out in space, there was no way the Cougar defense was going to stop him. know, we haven't really been able to see Odumegu out in space and showing off those wheels. He's been more of a power back, and well-deserved at that. But great showing there by George to showing off those wheels, and the Cougar secondary was not able to catch up to him. So with the extra point from Schlagenhoff, Durham with the hold, and the kick is up and good. So very quickly,
And the PAT is good.
after 3 and out by the Summit defense, Odumegu is able to answer that opportunity for their offense, as we see that famous mixed direction, the high look that the quarterback gives for the Spartans. And as you see, Odumegu is able to get some space. And Carlton and JaVale Pope were not able to catch up to him.
That was some great blocking down the field.
Absolutely. Wide receivers were able to get out in space and keep on their man. And as we see one more time, probably catch up a key block on this outside. Of course, you know, the outside by number 70, the offensive lineman, Kobe Davis, kind of opened it up. And after that, Odumegu was just able to use his speed, and even in the secondary, it didn't even look like they were blocked. He just used his vision to get around him.
Make it look easy.
That's right. And, you know, that is one thing as a running back, you want to, or any player at that matter, you want to make anything you do look easy. So we'll see if Coach Kreisky and the Cougars are able to face some adversity very, very early. Still got a good bit of time left in the first quarter. Exactly 5 minutes left. As the Spartans are up by 2 scores, 14-0. We saw 2 pass plays and a run by the Cougars, and nothing was doing. Another short pooch kick here, and it kind of fell in front of one of the receivers for the Cougars, and it looks like he was able to recover it. I'm pretty sure that looked like number 55, Caden Carter.
The short kick recovered by the Cougars at the 40.
If not, it was one of his buddies. They were able to regain possession. So the Cougars will start at the 37-yard line, 1st and 10. See if Trey Stewart can get something going for that Cougar offense as he takes the shotgun snap, pitches it right to Wilson. Wilson sees a hole and bursts his speed there. That very impressive from Wilson. And he was able to take it into the Spartan territory.
A very strong run.
Looked like he had really good patience there. Once he got the pitch, he was able to recognize the hole, and he just turned it straight into 4th gear and just was gone. So Jatavion Hayes was able to keep Wilson intact and not getting any extra yards there. So after a great 1st down carry from Wilson, he takes it again and he sees another hole, and he's off and running, able to break a couple tackles.
It's number 3, Wilson again. Finds a big
And he is able to get down close to the 15-yard line.
inside the 20-yard line. He's ball dragged down by number 15.
So number 15 from the Spartans was able to drag him down. That was Jonathan Myers.
The ball officially spotted at the 16-yard line of the Spartans. 1st and
As you
10.
see, he just had a head of steam, and he focused on that end zone and was able to go. So after 2 big runs by Wilson in the Cougar offense, we'll see if they keep going, and they do. Looks like that was number 2, Trey Carlton.
Number 2, Trey Carlton, the ball carrier.
And he
He's
was
at the line of scrimmage.
hit at the line of scrimmage and was able to, looks like he was able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Number 40, Nick Johnson, in there for the tackle, able to penetrate that offensive line and make the stop. So what do you think after 3 straight runs, a couple long gains and a stop? It looks like they're back in the high formation. See what they do, and they do pitch it to the left, and that is Wilson. He has space, and he is all the way to the left side, untouched into the end zone for the Cougars. Wow, little change of pace there in this game. 4 plays
Number 4, Wilson
and 6 points.
takes it 16 yards into the end zone for the Cougars.
Great way to counteract a 3-and-out from that previous offensive drive, and a very quick offensive possession by the Spartans. And Gerald Wilson showing off his speed to get into the end zone as the extra point is up and blocked. Looks like that was blocked by Jonathan Myers, number 15. Able to penetrate that offensive line and get in there and get the block. Yes, at one point that is pretty demoralizing and bad for the morale of the Cougars. But if you're Coach Kreisey and that coaching staff on the sideline, able to score that quick, you know you're able to score on this defense. As we see Wilson taking that pitch to the left and untouched going in. Great blocking by his fellow mates there on the outside to reach the end zone. But as I was saying, now 4 plays, you went 3 quarters all the way down the field and scored. You now know you can score against this defense. The biggest point of interest now is getting your defense to match up with the physicality of the offensive line and the schemes that the Spartans offense does, to match up with that, and would be huge to get a stop. I mean, 3-and-out, of course, but keeping them out of the end zone would be first key for the Cougars. So here we are as the Cougars set to kick it off. Johnny Crouch, number 10, is lining up his guys. And here we go with the kickoff. It's the high, short kick. Looks like that's going to go out of bounds. That's really not something you want to see there. A little legal procedure call. So it's going to set up the Spartans with great field position once again. So from the 35-yard line, Summit will start their 3rd possession of the evening. So after that last drive, we have a 14-6 ball game with Summit leading Centennial. 3 minutes and 38 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. So on the first down give, that's Durham with the toss to the left to Ty Carter. Able to pick up some positive yards there. And I apologize, that was actually number 24, Peyton Craig, on the first down carry. Clear skies tonight. Not too cold, not too hot. Perfect October football weather, if you ask me. As Durham takes a snap and gives to number 23, Odemegwu, who was in motion going to the right. Able to run hard and get, as the change moves, get the first down. So that was Crease there on the tackle, able to nullify any extra yards. So Summit will have the ball at the 46-yard line, 1st and 10. Durham takes a snap, gives up the middle to Peyton Craig, and he is stopped and stuffed at the line of scrimmage. First to meet him, number 26, Ryan Farley, with the committee of Cougars. Great push and penetration by that defensive front from the Cougars. Looks like runs up the middle for the Spartans. Those 7 to 8 guys in the box from the Cougars are able to stop them. It's just when they go outside, which is usually where most of the yards from the Spartans come. We'll see what they do here. Looks like they fake to the outside by Christian Jolly and gives up the middle to George Odemegwu. He's able to cross the 30-yard line into Cougar territory. Looks like that was met by, he was met by number 9, Tremont Coffey there. So as we see with the give from Durham to Christian Jolly, a little misdirection to Odemegwu, and he's able to find some space and get up the middle there. And with Coffey, that was also number 22, Tavion Fleming, able to stop him. So the first down give to Odemegwu.
Number 24, Peyton Craig on the play. Flag on the play, likely.
And once again, I apologize. The 3 and the 4 on the back of those jerseys are getting harder for me to see this evening. I apologize, folks. That was actually 24, Peyton Craig. As we saw there, he was his head kind of cranking back, got a face mask penalty on the Cougars. Coach Kreisky from the Cougars also mentioned that turnovers have been a big factor. You know, one of the big keys to this game would be to nullify and limit those turnovers. In my book, flags and extra yards for that, free yards for the other team, I say are just as bad as turnovers and even could consider as turnovers. And with this offense from the Spartans, you do not want to give them any extra free yards.
Number 24, Peyton Craig, the running back. He's going to find a crease
So
in the
Craig was able to find a little hole at the middle on the first down play.
Ryan Newby comes up and hits him right at the 10-yard line.
Ryan Newby able in there for the tackle for Centennial.
Goes for about 4, second down and 6.
Gets close to 4 yards there by Craig. Is able to find that seam and get positive yardage. So 2nd and 6 from the 10-yard line. Clock rolling down inside of a minute in the first quarter. Give is to number 31, Christian Jolly, it looks like, and he is not able to get much yards.
Going to dive inside the 10-yard line. Maybe pick up a yard.
He might have been able to pick up one.
Kevin Townsend, number 4, Jerry Wilson.
1 yard there. Townsend and Jerry Wilson in there for the tackle. So as we approach 15 seconds, looks like the Spartans are going to try to run one more play on 3rd and 6. Offense gets some plays from the sidelines. And it looks to me that they're going to let this clock run out and finish off this first quarter. As the time expires.
The quarter expires with the Spartans leading 14-6.
So after the first quarter here at Summit High School, Summit leads Centennial 14-6.
The cheerleaders have special.
Now I'll tell you what, partner. I am at first, those first 2 possessions by Summit started to look like this might be a long night, but then Centennial comes out with a 4-play touchdown drive. This might be an interesting matchup if the defense of Centennial can contain this running attack, because it does not look like Summit's going to throw the ball.
Well, both teams are playing in the top of their respective divisions, so they certainly aren't showing that they're giving up by any means at this point in the game.
You know, as you said, as you mentioned, both teams at the top of the division. Summit clinching their region, winning their region for the first time in school history, and they're able to solidify home field advantage through the entire playoffs.
That's going to be awesome.
So they win, they stay at home, and as we saw tonight, this crowd this evening, even for an interleague matchup, if you will, not even in the same region, we are packed on both sides. And, you know, people are here to see these 2 great teams and, you know, if you will, a surprising Summit team having a great season. So on 3rd down in the red zone, there's a toss to the left to 24, Peyton Craig, and he is stuffed by the Cougars. And that's going to bring up 4th down. That's a big defensive play for the Cougars.
Yeah, number 4, Wilson, was involved on that stop.
So, looks like Coach Coleman's going to keep his offense on the field, and as I say that, he switches it up and brings Sloganoff out to attempt the field goal. So about a 25, 26-yard field goal by Sloganoff is true. So the Spartans take the lead a little bit further with 3 points, 17-6. 11 minutes and 11 seconds still left to go in the second quarter. You know, I feel that we're all in agreement that 3 points is a win on that defensive drive by the Cougars.
Oh, that was a great defensive stops to keep them out of the end zone.
And if they show that they're able to keep the ball moving like they did their last possession, you know, keep points on the board, keep Summit out of the end zone, this could turn into a very interesting ball game. And I couldn't be more excited. As mentioned, the weather's perfect, the atmosphere is great. Another wonderful night for WCTV. Great crew on hand. Got Jack and Sam up here with me on the top of the press box, giving you all great views of tonight's ball game. Lance in the van down there doing all the dirty work, if you will, making us sound good, make everything look great. Just another great night for some high school football. So the Spartans will kick off. Saugenhoff set to go. Over to the right side, a short kick.
Number 21, Zach Steer.
Not a big gain. So number 21, Zach Steer, was able to catch that ball before it bounced backwards and able to get a few yards.
Centennial will start at their own 42-yard line, 1st and 10.
Looked like he just lowered that head and was determined to get some yards. As he did, he's steamrolled the defender. And so with that, the Cougars will start on their own 42-yard line, 1st and 10. Stewart under center gives up the middle to Wilson. Looks like he's going to not make it to the line of scrimmage and gets a 1-yard loss. He was tackled by Robert Holmes, number 25.
The play goes for no yardage, 2nd down and 10.
So, first drive by Centennial had 3 passes in 1 run. Second drive, ran the ball all the way down the field in 4 plays. I would, in my opinion, would think they want to switch it up just a little bit because, well, sorry about that, folks. I was just watching some improvisations by Wilson there, able to reverse the field and make it across the 50-yard line into Summit territory. Great vision, able to recognize he had nothing doing. But even though Wilson had a great run, probably ran about 50 yards on that play, there is a flag in the backfield of the Cougars. As our referee crew discuss it, the spot of that flag usually means a hold, which after that great run by Wilson would be. And that's exactly what it is. It is holding.
Against the Cougars. That's a 10-yard penalty from the
Nonetheless, still would love to see this play again. As Wilson saw nothing going on the right side and was able to just turn those gears into play and able to get
10 yards from the
about a 15-yard gain on the field, but actual running yards, it looked like about a 40-yard run.
At least.
But as mentioned before, Trey Stewart has a great arm. He has great receivers to throw to. And as we saw last week against Shelbyville, Summit's defense was exposed a little bit from their passing game. So we'll see what they can do. As Stewart does drop back to pass, throws over to the left side. It's high, and it was caught there on the left side. Able to make it back to the original line of scrimmage.
Picked up most of those penalty yards.
So, able to make it back close to the line of scrimmage. The Cougars will have 3rd and long, about 12 yards from the 40-yard line. Stewart has 2 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left, and he puts his running back in motion to his right hip. Looking right, rolling right, throws to the right, and it is caught for a first down and some more by number 22. That was Tavion Fleming. Great vision by Stewart, able to loft that ball over the linebackers of Summit and just drop it right in the breadbasket of Fleming. As I was mentioning before, Summit's defense being exposed last week, it was mentioned in the coaches show, kind of joked about, they gave up over 600 yards passing in one game, which was a state record by Shelbyville. But in Summit's defense, we're still able to win the game. That's all that matters. But after seeing that right there, that's something that Centennial can use to their advantage. And sorry about that, watching Wilson run for another about 22-yard gain on first down. But that's going to be something they can use to keep Summit off balance. And, if you're them, hopefully get in the end zone. So another great run by Wilson. He was able to get positive yards and finally taken down by Robert Holmes and committee at the 17-yard line as we approach 9 minutes left to go in this first half. Centennial has the ball. 1st and 10, give to the left to Wilson, and he is able to step over some defenders and into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown. So as they use the mix of run and pass, looks like that's going to be a good recipe to go against this Summit defense. As after that touchdown by Wilson, this extra point here by number 10, Johnny Crouch, will hopefully move the Cougars into 4-point deficit as he kicks it up and good. Held by Joey Gustafson there.
Well, I think Centennial is going to keep this an interesting game tonight.
Well, even like we mentioned, it's not going to solidify any type of ranking, standing changes, but both teams know the relationship between these coaches. It was mentioned, joked around about. But as I mentioned to you earlier, Summit cannot look past Centennial. They're seven wins in a row. They want to make it 8, regardless.
Absolutely. And Centennial is going to do everything in their power to prevent that this evening.
Well, exactly. With their 3-5 record, their 5 losses were all non-conference, non-regional matchups. Their 3 wins were in their region, which has them at 3-1 in the top of their region. But they're non-conference opponents. You're looking at Hendersonville, Cane Ridge, Hillsboro, Riverdale, and now Summit. All of those teams have a combined record of 30-10. That's a pretty darn tough schedule, especially non-conference.
Probably one of the toughest non-conference schedules I've seen in high school football.
Without a doubt. And so, if they're able to put out a good showing and upset Summit here, they're going to do everything they can. As Tavion Hayes on the kickoff takes it, refusing to go down, still going. Refusing to go down, and took about 4 Centennial defenders there to take him down. But as we see a flag down at the 24-yard line, I was trying to follow the ball. It looked like it might have been on the receiving team, some type of illegal block. And that's exactly what it was. It was a legal block in the back. So that's going to bring them back 10 yards after that return by Hayes. So with 8:39 left to go in the first half, Centennial is able to cut it to 4. Summit leads 17-13. And after that penalty, able to flip field position. Sumner's going to be starting in their own red zone for the first time tonight. First time probably actually passed inside the 35, 40-yard line. So we'll see how they're able to counter that and have a long field ahead of them with first down. Durham pitches it to the left. That's George Odumegwu able to get some space, gets the sideline, and he is met and thrown out of bounds by number 9 for the Cougars. That's Trayman Coffey.
Yeah, they've called Coffey's name quite a bit tonight. He's dialed in on that outside run.
Absolutely. I mean, he's around the ball every play. He's able to shed some blocks. There at the line of scrimmage, he's out of view on the replay there, but he, as we see, comes back, able to stay in the play and make the tackle. I don't know, with the Odumegwu speed and power, he could have possibly made it all the way to the end zone on that. So, after the long gain by Odumegwu, he takes again on first down, goes up through the middle for about a gain of 4. You know, as we were talking about earlier, you know, the Cougars are able to stop that inside run. It's the ones that are going outside. All the motions, different looks that Summit has. It's so hard to follow your reads, follow your assignments, or even keep your assignments with all the misdirection. And that's what makes Summit's offense so hard to stop. As we see another misdirection play as Sam Durham gives it to number 35. That is, looks like it's actually Quinn Sloggenoff, the kicker. Kicker turned running back, it looks like. That's impressive. Even though it was impressive, the offensive line of Summit called for an illegal shift. It's a very interesting call. I don't know, the 24 years of my life, I've never seen a kicker take the ball out of the quarterback's hands and run the ball. But I like it. I do. I like the call from Coleman. Spartans have even more options in the backfield than we thought. The officials discussing, looks like they're discussing that last call. See what they decide to do here. But as I was saying, it looks like Centennial's going to have to keep containment on the outside on these runs, because they're putting a lot of guys in the box up the middle and relying on their corners and safeties to sink in and get that outside run. They need to get some guys on the outside a little bit more, as they have 4 down front on this with another outside run. Odumegwu to the left side.
Number 23, George Odumegwu blasts into the second.
And that actually looked well defended. That was just great blocking on the outside. Looks like that was Robert Holmes. And let's see if I can see this here. Fleming in for the tackle for the Cougars. But as I mentioned, they were actually contained on the left side of that on the outside, but with Robert Holmes leading the blocking attack. And then the fellow offensive lineman, number 51, Mason Leatherwood, able to, no pun intended, lay some wood on those defenders and get a hole for Odumegwu and to get a good gain. As the 3rd down and 1 give to Odumegwu, it looks like he is short of the first down.
It's like Josh Rowan.
Josh Rowan, number 41, in there for the tackle. And that brings up a 4th and 1. Interesting decision here. We'll see what they decide to do on the Spartan sidelines. Looks like they are sending out their punt unit. I think that's a smart decision. You're going from 17-6 to 17-13. 6.5 minutes left to go in the first half. You're on your own side of the 50. Trust your defense and punt the ball away, as Sloggenoff gets it away and gets a Spartan roll as it continues to roll and gets to about the 13-yard line. Tavion Fleming deciding to let that ball roll. So, as we talked about before, Centennial's defense able to stop that rushing attack and even kept Summit out of their own side of the field. Didn't even cross the 50. So, a little over 6 minutes left to go in the first half. Cougars are in a good position here to run in on that lead of the Spartans, as we have a pass on first down. Rolling to the left is Stewart. A little play action. Overthrew his receiver a little bit over the middle. Mentioning Stewart's live arm and accuracy and able to throw the ball, throwing across his body on the run. See if the offensive play calling can keep that in mind and use against this defense of the Spartans, as the second down toss to Wilson on the left side. He is tackled for a loss, not able to even make it back to the line of scrimmage. So Robert Holmes on the tackle, came in unblocked. So a loss of 2. 3rd and 12 for the Cougars on their own 11-yard line. As we around 5.5 minutes left to go, clock running. With where the Cougars are on the field, they really need to get positive yards on this play, as Stewart drops back to pass. He is pressured, eludes the rush, able to get a hold, get out of the pocket, and get a first down rush.
The Centennial team has some speed.
Absolutely. Athletes all over the field. Both teams.
Both teams.
Really. And which makes it, to me, a better matchup than it really looks on paper. As we see Stewart not finding anybody down the field, as the rushing attack is able to get in there quickly, and he just shows off his wheels. Able to tuck that ball and protect it, get out of bounds for a first down for the Cougars.
That's a big play.
Very big. 3rd and long in their own territory. As that looks like Stewart also made another big play on that, as the snap was fumbled. This is what it looked like to me. It might have been a rushing play. It looked like a little bit of a bobble, but got 1 yard out of it. So 2nd and 9 for Centennial at their own 27-yard line. With the clock running and 4.5 minutes left to go in the first half, play clock winding down, and Centennial decides to call a timeout and discuss a game plan of how they can close out this first half with some positive points and gain some momentum going into the locker room. We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Coach Kreisky of Centennial was mentioning a couple keys to this game. And the turnovers, as I mentioned, was one. And as we're seeing tonight, hasn't turned the ball over yet, but penalties, losing yards, giving the other team yards is just as bad as a turnover with this Summit team. But also, he emphasized, Coach Kreisky, on tackling those running backs, preferably in the backfield, which it looks like they have kind of disciplined themselves a little bit more after the first couple drives, and were able to force a punt that last drive, showing that. So the second down give to Wilson, trying to go on the outside, losing a couple yards, trying to elude the tackles. And he is able to elude a few and get positive yardage. So a play that looked like it was busted. And Wilson able to get through.
Check that, it was an illegal block in the back. Another 10-yard penalty.
So with a flag during that play, going back to what we just mentioned, the legal block in the back by the Cougar offense. So after a positive gain, setting them back 10 yards.
10 yards from the spot of the foul will put the ball at the 11-yard line for the Cougars.
And that's going to bring them up 2nd down and 25 on their own 11-yard line. So it's a spread look from the Cougars here as Stewart takes the shotgun snap, looking to the left, finding his receiver, getting a good, about a 9 or 10-yard gain there, making it to the 20-yard line.
Check that, number 22, Fleming with
and
the
that was
reception.
Fleming with the reception, as he looks like he was shaken up on the play.
Number 25 is going to make the tackle. That's Robert.
So he's going to
The ball at the
get on the
20,
sideline and take a breather.
at about 16.
Robert Holmes for the Spartans able to finally bring down Fleming. So after the 9-yard pass completion, the Cougars are facing a 3rd down and 16 on their own 20-yard line. Clock rolling inside of 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Stewart driving back to pass, sees nothing, brings the ball down to run, and he has nowhere to go. Great defense by Summit. It looks like he was met there by number 31, Christian Jolly. Great open field tackle by Jolly on that play. So, I think the clock is stopped. There is a flag on the play. See what the call on the field is. Stewart was trying to make something out of that play, a little something out of nothing, and Christian Jolly was able to lay the hardware down on Stewart.
He waved the flag, waved it off, so.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what the flag would have been on that play. I personally didn't see anything, because that's not saying much. That's why I'm up here and I'm not on the sidelines or on the field. But with a great defensive stand by Summit, brings up 4th and 16. Clock running down to 3 minutes left to go in this first half. Going to give Summit plenty of time to get some more points down the board. As Crouch set up the punt, Tavion Hayes to receive. The punt is away, end over end. Received by Hayes. Able to slip one tackler, make it 2. Finding some space, getting a great block by Christian Jolly on the left side. 2 men to beat, and he has reversed the field into the end zone.
However, there's a flag at the 50-yard line. It may be coming back.
Goodness gracious. I did hear you on the flag. I'm sorry. I'm still marveling over that kickoff return and great blocking by the return team by Summit. But like you said, yes, there is a flag down on the field. And of course, a legal block in the back. So far, it looks like the flag bugaboo on both teams. Penalties are killing momentum on both sides. So, after that initial touchdown punt return by Hayes, that's going to bring the Spartans back to their 39-yard line. And just because we will be able to watch this beautiful run back by Hayes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a safety cornerback showing off his running ability. Nonetheless, we have a 1st and 10 on the 39-yard line of the Spartans as Durham takes the snap, pitches it to the left. To Odemegwu, able to pick up a solid 9 yards.
Is that Fleming on the stop again?
believe that was just 1-2. Trey Carlton there on the tackle.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, these numbers on both of these jerseys are difficult to see. And, you know, gang tackling by committee on both sides. With multiple guys tackling, it is hard to pinpoint who gets that first initial tackle. But for the second time tonight, Quinn Slogenhoff, the kicker for Summit, takes the run. Just look at the, I mean, you'd never guess that's a kicker. He doesn't look like, he looks like a fullback or a linebacker. He's built. Little bit of miscommunication with Durham and his running backs. They collide in the backfield, and that's going to be about a loss of close to 6 or 7 on that first down play.
Number 76, Jack Priest, back there in the backfield.
Didn't really know if Durham was planning on passing the ball, or with that collision in the backfield, he had to improvise and turn it into a potential pass. But nonetheless, that's a 7-yard loss, bringing up 2nd down and 17 on the Cougar 45-yard line for the Spartans. Durham pitches it to the left. That's Odemegwu, loses his footing, slips, and able to make it back to the line of scrimmage. So with the clock running inside of a minute, it's going to bring up 3rd down and long, make it 17 yards for the Spartans. And if you're Centennial here, I wouldn't worry about calling a timeout. I'd worry about making this stop, forcing them, the Spartans have you, to punt the ball or just let that clock run out. Make it a 4-point game going into the locker room as Durham does give a draw give to Odemegwu. Catches the Cougars defense on their heels. Didn't really know what they were going to run there. And Odemegwu just finds a hole and hits it. Great looking sell on the pass by Durham, as we see on the replay. And Odemegwu just bursting. Gets the first down. He's finally taken down by number 2 for the Cougars. That's Carlton. So just as I was trying to give a little bit of a game plan, if you will, if you're for Centennial, Odemegwu kind of spoils that. And they call a timeout, able to stop the clock with 19 seconds left to go here in the first half at the 23-yard line of the Cougars. So 2 timeouts, 19 seconds left to go. I'd say you probably have about 3 or 4 plays you can run, maybe 3 before a field goal chance if you don't get in. Granted, I don't know what the chances of Summit passing the ball are, but I have been proven wrong before by Coach Coleman. So the first down, pitch to the right to Odemegwu, trying to go outside, was not able to get out of bounds, and he is met hard by the Cougar defense. That was actually number 40 for Centennial. Sean Hannon laying a hard hit on Odemegwu. So the Spartans try to go outside. Centennial was able to contain it, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
Well, there's no doubt both of these teams are well coached. The players are staying at home. There's not very many busted plays.
Not really. Really just that one by Durham with the collision in the backfield, and even the 2 times Trey Stewart for Centennial, tucked and ran the ball. I don't necessarily
that's just pure speed.
Exactly. I don't constitute that as a busted play. I use that as being a dual threat quarterback, which we see more and more nowadays, this day and age in football. And that skill is being showcased more and more at the high school level, and as we see at the college level now, all these great talented quarterbacks with all the different types of threats that they have. So on 2nd down, Durham rolls out to the left, passes the ball to the left side of the end zone, in the back of the end zone, overshoots his intended receiver on the play. Well covered by the Cougars.
The intended receiver, Odemegwu,
It looks like that was his running back, Odemegwu, the intended receiver. So first pass by Summit. Like I said, I knew Coach Coleman was going to prove me wrong like he's done many times before. So on 3rd down and 7 with 4 seconds left to go in the first half, Summit's electing to go for the field goal. Schlagenhoff has the kick away, and it is good. About a 36, 37-yard field goal. So able to make positive outcome on that last possession of the first half from Summit. They go into the locker room leading Centennial 20-13. You're listening to WCTV broadcast of the game of the week. We will be right back for the second half coverage. See you then.
Hey, I'm Michaela from Williamson County Animal Center. Right now we are in the Per Palace Visitation Room, or Free Roam Cat Room actually. This is Sawyer. He is a lovely black and speckled. He's got little bitty white speckles on him. Kitty that's in here right now, he was a stray brought into us around the 18th of August. He's about 3 years old and he's very playful. He loves to cuddle, he loves treats, and he gets along great with other cats. He likes to play with his feather toy. Oh, not you, Piper. Look at him go. Look at him go. But Sawyer is available for adoption. If you would like to come adopt him, all our cats are no cost at the moment, and he will be here waiting on you. Come visit him anytime. Hey, I'm Michaela from Williamson County Animal Center. We're here today with Miss Naomi. She's one of our long-term residents here at the shelter. Unfortunately, she's been brought back to us several times. She needs to be an only pet. She would love to be your only, one and only. She's unfortunately not good with other dogs or cats. We recommend her being with older children, maybe like 10 and up. But she's very sweet, she's very lovable. She loves to play, loves to snuggle. Sometimes she knows how to sit, but not all the time. But if you are interested in Naomi, she is not only a shelter favorite, but I mean, she just grabs a lot of attention. She's a love bug. She is no cost right now, and if you'd like to come see her, you're more than welcome to. She's in our dog room. Oh, yeah, come down and see Naomi.
Good evening and welcome back. Welcome back to the second half coverage here at Summit High School between Summit Spartans and Centennial Cougars. The Spartans are leading by 7 over the Cougars, 20-13. Temperatures have dropped. Sweatshirts and hoodies have been brought out, and we're set to go here with a great looking ball game between two non-conference opponents, Summit in 5A, Cougars in 6A. Little friendly, as mentioned earlier, little friendly rivalry between Coach Coleman and Coach Kreisky over there at Centennial. And just been a fun game to watch. Very intriguing on both sides. Both defenses have been exposed and have been strong. So as Schlagenhoff gets the little pooch kick going on here, we'll see what happens and what's set up for us in this second half. As the Cougars receive the ball, that's number 9, Coffee. Kind of reversed his field a couple times there, able to get a few yards on the return. So with the score 20-13, with Summit only scoring 20 points in the first half, definitely something to note, and a positive note for Centennial's defense. Summit's actually plus 150 in the first half of games in scoring, and with it being only 20 points in the 7-point game, we have a very intriguing second half matchup here as Fleming takes the ball,
Number 22, Fleming.
trying to get some running room on the right side, and actually picks up a couple yards of loss there. But as I was mentioning before, Coach Coleman noted that, you know, all season they've come out strong and hard and kind of wanted to put their opponent away early, and that was his main key to this evening's game. And not saying they didn't start off fast. I mean, they started off in typical Spartan fashion, but Centennial able to hold them within 7 points. As the second down give to Wilson. Able to make it up to the original line of scrimmage and make it about 1 or 2 yards.
Spotted at the 39-yard line. 3rd down and 8.
So 3rd down and 8 from the 39-yard line. Cougars have it. So already on 3rd and long for the Cougars. Need to try to make something work here as Stewart drops back the pass, looks left, finds his receiver on the left side. Great pass by Stewart, able to thread the needle in between 2 defensive backs of Summit.
Number 12, Stewart's pass completed on the sideline to number 16.
Looks like that was number 16 on the reception for the Cougars, Brady Wee.
Cougars keep this drive going and tie this ball game up early in the second half. It's going to make a very interesting ball game.
It's definitely going to put Summit in a situation that they rarely have been in this year, as far as late in the game, as Wilson takes the carry on the right side, finds a hole and able to push through. Another solid gain and another first down for the Cougars. But as I was saying, like last week against Shelbyville, faced adversity, down by 5 in the 4th quarter, which was, I believe, to my knowledge, if I'm correct, first time all year, you know, trailing that late in the game. But like you said, if they can, if you're the Cougars and get in the end zone on this drive, is number 4 Wilson on the Cougars. Pushes his way to the right side, lowers that shoulder. That was number 4 for the, for the Spartans. That's Matt Szymanski, able to force him out of the bounds. The 22-yard line. But again, tie that ball game up, force the Spartans to have to counter something that they're not used to doing. Very interesting. So Stewart splits 2 wideouts to the left. He has Wilson at his left hip, pitches it to him to the left, and has nowhere to go. First met by Robert Holmes. Lost a yard or 2 on that play. So with that second down loss, the Cougars have faced another 3rd down and medium to long range, range here at the 26-yard line of the Spartans. Stewart under center with the I formation with 2 wide receivers to the left. Gives the pitch to Wilson on the right side, finds a lane. Looks like he was pushed out of bounds around the 18-yard line. From my angle, I can't tell if he got the first down, but that might be void, as there is a holding call, as our official lets us know. So already starting off that first possession of the second half, that penalty bug kind of sucking the life out of this drive of the Cougars. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that would have been a first down. That would have been enough for the first down on that run by Wilson. So 3rd down and 16 from the 35-yard line. Spread formation by the Cougars. Stewart takes a shotgun snap, looking left, throwing left, and it is picked off.
Wow.
picked off by the Spartans. Looks like that was number 8.
Ryan Newby.
Chandler Alexander on that interception. Whoops. Let's look at this replay. Stewart was eyeing to the left. Looked like he was kind of following his receiver the whole way. And Alexander did not take his eyes off of the QB's eyes and might have been a little underthrown by Stewart. Nonetheless, great defense by Chandler Alexander, and that gets the Spartans the ball at the 22-yard line as Peyton Craig with the first down run might not have been able to make it to the line of scrimmage. Looks like it was a loss of 2, so 2nd and 12 for Summit. So after the derailing interception by Centennial, good first down play by the defense. As Durham takes a snap, pitches it to the left to Peyton Craig. Looks like he's met first by the cornerback, number 23, Jarvell Pope. A couple other Centennial defenders. Looks like he might have been able to make it back to the line of scrimmage. Or the original line of scrimmage, excuse me. So 3rd and 9 after the 3-yard gain by Craig. Centennial looking for a big stop here on 3rd down. Summit in their own territory. Durham fakes the give, rolling to the right, throws right, has his receiver for the first down. And that's something we haven't seen from Durham. Good looking pass, looks like that was to number 10. Hunter Rogers on the first down reception. Good looking throw by Trey Durham. Excuse me, I apologize, Sam Durham. We see rolling to the right, great throw, right on the money. Able to elude the outstretched arms of Pope. So a little misdirection snap. A little trickery by Summit on the first down. First down run, and that's Peyton Craig able to surge up the middle for the first down. And number 22, Travion Fleming, able to come in for the stop for Centennial. So we see that actually faked me out almost. A great looking play by Summit. So Summit starting to move a little bit here on their first possession of the second half as there's a toss to the left to Peyton Craig. And he is stuffed once again at the line of scrimmage. Looks like he was met first by number 76. That is Jack Quest, along with a couple other defensive mates there. Able to pick up 1 yard. 2nd down and 9 for Summit. Give is to Odemegwu, stiff arms the defender. Makes it out to the 45, maybe just past it for the first down.
Moves his way down to the 45-yard line of the Cougars. Tackle is going to be made by number 40, Sean Hannon.
Sean Hannon, and
The officials look at the spot.
looks like that was
They're going to call
also
timeout
Kevin
and get the
Townsend.
measurement.
And on the tackle, make that Ryan Newby, number 8 for the Cougars, with Sean Hannon on that tackle as the chain gang is going to run out onto the field.
This game brought to you by Lee Company.
See if Odemegwu was able to make it to the first down. We'll take a look. Looks like he's about a nose of the football short.
Second and very short. The ball right at the 45-yard line.
So with the ball in
Check that. It is 3rd down.
Cougar territory, 3rd and short. Obviously you'd like to get it if you're Summit. Say you don't, Well, what do you? I don't know. What do you think the play call will be there? Do you play it safe and punt it away, or are you still short and try to go for it? I guess we can.
I think this is 3rd down, so they're going to go right up the middle with this ball.
As the officials get the clock rolling, Durham takes the sneak, falls forward, actually gets some great yards. QB sneak able to surge through for about 4. What I was saying, though, what I was thinking, you know, what if they don't make it, you know, 4th and 1, 4th and 2 in Cougar territory? You'd probably go for it.
Possibly, but I think these coaches respect each other a lot, and both of them want to go for the win tonight.
Right, exactly. So that, I mean, you know, if I'm Coach Coleman, I'm going to do anything I can to keep the ball out of Coach Kreisky's team's hands, and by, you know, but the way they're running, you can pick up a couple yards. You know, if you get a controversial fourth down play, especially on that side of the field,
right?
You have enough confidence in your defense just in case you don't get it. But even more confidence in that offensive line in the rushing attack. So after that first down run of 1 yard, Durham takes the snap. Gives it to Odemegwu. Able to get a few yards. Number 26, Ryan Farley, in for the tackle. So with a 3-yard gain, that's going to bring up 3rd and looks like about 6 yards for the Spartans. Clock just inside 4.5 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. Summit leading 20-13. 3rd and medium. Durham pitches it to the right to Odemegwu. Surges forward and is able to get that first down. Once again, it looks like whenever Summit gets into a little bit of a hole, they're going for that outside run.
The outside run's been successful almost all night.
All night and all year. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's true. I'd love to see Durham has got a really strong arm, but the running game's so successful. Except right here,
right. See there, they go in the middle, get stuffed. So on the outside, seems to be working. No, you're right. I mean, Durham has a great arm, but no matter who the quarterback is for Summit, they're not going to throw the ball very much with that wing T offense and all the weapons they have in the backfield.
That's the bread and butter that's got them here.
That's right. You know, I believe against Page here a few weeks ago, Ethan Cash had 3 passes in the first half, 3 touchdowns.
Right.
You know, before Durham replaced him, and we got a double handoff give. It is fumbled and picked up by the Cougars. Oh, it's dropped. But it looks like there's a lot of white hats there on the ball. We'll see what the call is. And it's going the Cougars' way. Wow. Big change of events right here. Look, looks like it was going to be a double handoff. And Christian Jolly trying to hand it off to number 5. That was Nafis Weldon. Just not able to keep his hands on it. Might have been running before he got the ball. And Centennial here. Centennial, I think, got lucky because instead of falling on the ball and trying to pick it up and run with it, they almost lost it. You know, they almost went back to Summit. But nonetheless, they get the ball here on the 45-yard line as Wilson spins up the middle for a good positive yards, about 4.
Number 4, Wilson, the ball carrier. He'll be upended at the 50-yard line. Tackled by number 3,
Looks
John
like that
Casey.
was number 3, Casey, I believe, on the tackle. So Centennial has to capitalize on that turnover. First turnover of the game. or excuse me, second turnover. So Centennial and Summit both have one aside. And Summit was unable to capitalize on their opportunity, and Centennial will get their chances. Wilson going to the outside, breaks free on the right. One man to beat, off to the races. Jatavion Hayes catches up to him. We'll see the call, and it looks like 6 points.
Stretches out and gets into the end zone for the Cougar touchdown.
Great run, but even better blocking on the edge on the right side. I'm sure in one moment I'll be able to see who that was. But I was following the ball, but that was great blocking where Wilson was able to catch that seam on the right sideline and was just able to beat Jatavion Hayes to that pylon. As Crouch gets the point after. And folks, we have a tie ball game. 2 minutes and 14 seconds left to go in the third quarter. We're locked up at 20. So let's take a look on this run. I always appreciate good blocking on runs like this. So as Wilson's going to the outside, about to pass, misses Jolly. That right there, the block on Szymanski was great by the offense of Centennial. Just opened up that final lane for Wilson, and he was able to make it to the end zone. Let's check out these feet. I believe he stayed in. I believe that was Jatavion Hayes' foot there.
Right.
I was going to say, our control booth down there read my mind because I was actually just about to mention those feet. But it looks like Wilson was able to keep him in bounds and get a touchdown. So we are now at your initial point with Centennial tying up this ball game and making it a game, and we'll see how Summit can face the adversity that they have not faced much at all this year. So Crouch sends it high. Hayes receives it around the 12-yard line, makes a juke on the left side, and he's able to bring it out close to midfield. The kicker Crouch able to bring him down. I swear, it seems like tonight in this game, it literally looks like the two coaches, Kreisky and Coleman, like the old Michael Jordan and Mia Hamm commercial. Whatever you can do, I can do better. And they're just going back and forth.
It's almost like they're reading each other's minds. They kind of anticipate.
Well, they are former. I mean, they coach on the same staff. I know at Forest, I believe, and I'm sorry if that's not correct, but they might have done also at another school as well. Good friends. They joked about calling each other after every game, and then of course the preseason or before this season, I'm not sure whether it was Coleman or Kreisky who called who, but multiple times trying to set this game up this year because they wanted to play each other, and I'm glad they are because this is a very entertaining matchup. As Craig once again is to give up the middle, able to squeak one or two out of the play. But you're exactly right. That, two really good friends, whether they've coached together or not, you share certain things.
Right.
So you're gonna know how to defend certain looks, which of course, anyone who plays Summit knows what they're gonna run, that they need to defend the run. It's just so hard with all the motions in the backfield, as we see here on third down. And Durham's tripped up and goes down.
17, Durham tripped up near the line of scrimmage.
Unfortunately, sacks himself there, and that brings up a fourth down and about 9. Punting unit for Summit coming onto the field as we reach 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Centennial's about to get the ball back. I think about a 4 or 5 and out. Slogging off. Punts it away.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Somebody had a block on that?
It looked like, I'm not sure if it was on purpose or not. kicked it directly to the line of scrimmage, like the both lines. And if we, look here, it looks like he kicked it directly into one of the Centennial players.
I think it just came off his foot.
It came off his foot wrong. Oh, okay, so I apologize. See, I thought that Centennial touched it and then Summit got it back, but it looks like it might have come off a Spartan instead of a Cougar.
Right.
That gives Centennial and Trey Stewart and his company great field position as Wilson.
Wilson used the official for a block.
Yeah, kind of screened the secondary there. So taking advantage of great field position.
Inside the 20-yard line and down near the 15.
Jerry Wilson.
Tackled by number 31, Christian Jolly.
Good athleticism by our referee there in the secondary. Well, folks, after that long run by Wilson, that brings us to the end of the third quarter. As the fours go up here at Summit Stadium, we are locked 20-20. Summit High School and Centennial. Well, I think it's time to start buckle up those seatbelts. You know, I hate to make assumptions, and I'm, you know, just analyzing everything. You really hope Summit hasn't overlooked Centennial tonight, because they kind of are looking like it, and Centennial is taking advantage of it, and they are no slouch, and they're proving it tonight.
Yeah, they're both they're well matched, regardless of the records of these teams. Like you said, the losses that Centennial have were just to phenomenal teams that are in the top of their regions also.
And I believe most of them are fellow 6A opponents as well, so you know those are all tough.
Right.
So after Gerald Wilson's long run, we switch sides of the field, and the Cougars have the ball 1st and 10 on the Spartans' 13-yard line. Here we go, folks. We start the fourth quarter. Wilson with the run, jumps out to the right side, fights off Christian Jolly as long as he can with the stiff arm. Able to pick up a great positive gain close to the sticks.
It'll bring up 2nd down and 4. Number 21, Jolly, the tackle for the Spartans.
So after the 6-yard gain, it's going to be 2nd and 4 inside the 10-yard line. Stewart gives it up the middle to Wilson again. Finds a little crease.
Number 4, Jerry Wilson.
Looks like he made it very close to the marker, if not right on top of it. And it looks like it is just short and going to bring up 3rd down. We're getting a heavy dose of Jerry Wilson tonight. I personally thought that Stewart was going to be letting that arm go a little bit more, but no need to with the running back running the way he is this evening. So 3rd and short, pitch to say running back Wilson, and he is stopped short of the 1st down. If I'm not mistaken, looks like that was Christian Jolly once again.
They're going to call it 4th down and 1.
All right, partner, what do you do here? 4th and 1.
I believe I'd go for the 3 points and try to get something on the board.
You're at this 5.5-yard line. 4th and 1. Yeah, to me it looks like they're bringing out their offense.
Well, if they do turn it over, the Spartans are very deep, so.
Hold the phone. Looks like there was a timeout called
just before the snap
by Centennial.
Centennial.
So this is actually something to think about, for sure. I mean, you don't know how many more times you're going to get the ball. Your defense, you know, has stopped the Spartans. You want to keep them on the sidelines as long as possible. That also might be a reason why they're calling a timeout, other than just figuring out what they're doing. But I don't know. You don't know how many more times you're going to get the ball back, so you go for it and keep the drive alive, or you kick the 3 points. It just depends on how much trust that coaching staff over on the Cougar sidelines has in their defense, which I think they've only gained that defense has only gained the trust in the coaching staff as the game's gone on.
I think you're right, and of course there's still 10 minutes to go, so there's lots of football left to go in this game.
And like you said, I mean, if they don't, say they go for it, don't get it, it's like a good punt or a missed field goal. They're still starting backs against their own goal line. So as we see here, looks like they're going to roll the dice and go for it. We'll see what happens. 4th and short. Stewart gives up the middle to Wilson, met the line of scrimmage, able to keep going. If he can hold on to that football, he made it into the end zone. Touchdown Centennial. Wow.
That's a momentum booster right there.
I am very, very impressed with Gerald Wilson tonight. Very impressed with that decision as well to go for it. He was stopped twice, and he kept going. And I thought he barely made it to the first down marker. Then we see the referee's hands go up, and he's in.
A lot of character on this team.
Absolutely, and they've stayed by each other's side and not giving up. So after the extra point by Crouch, that puts Centennial up by 7. He scored 27-20. Just under 10 minutes to go in regulation of this ball game. So what do you do if you're Summit?
I score a touchdown.
Very good answer. If it was me, you've already made the point. Durham's got an arm. Put a little bit of trust in him, and the Cougars have proven that they're willing to nose up against that offensive line and that run attack from Summit and stop them, which they've done twice this half.
And I think the Cougars, the middle of the field, they've just shut it off the second half. So you're either going to have to sweep around the ends or throw it down the field. So
even the few times that they've gone around the ends, that they've not been able to stop, they're stopping. I think you do a little bit of play action. Let Durham, roll out, throw a couple, 4 or 5 yard passes. Let his receivers, let his athletes do their work.
Procedure penalty will be called against the Cougars. The ball is kicked out of bounds. It'll be
but after the momentum boost and the momentum swing, Crouch is unable to keep it in bounds, which is going to be a procedure penalty against Centennial. One step forward, 2 steps back, it seems, on both sides tonight.
Right. Another good field position for the home team.
Now it looks like I missed it, but it looks like they're re-kicking it. Now, I always thought on those kick out of bounds. Okay. So just to inform that looks like Coach Coleman wants them to kick it again. We'll see if Crouch decides to kick it a little deeper this time. He's shown his leg on these extra points, so we'll see what happens. Kick is away, he goes high again. And Jatavion Hayes fields it, tiptoes on the sidelines, maybe got a yard or 2. If he didn't touch it, I think it'd gone out of bounds again.
I believe you're right.
And with the return ability of Hayes, I'm surprised they're not going after another target. to return that ball, the Cougars.
Ball fielded and out of bounds at the 29-yard
But
line. Summit will have it 1st and 10 at their own 29.
decent field position for Summit. Around the 28-yard line. Durham sends a man in motion. Takes the snap. Looks like there some movement on the front line. And that's actually going to be on the Cougars.
It'll be 1st and 5.
Neutral zone infraction, encroachment, offsides, all three of them. They're all used by that one motion by the referee, so I'll go with all three. So after the penalty, 1st and 5 for Summit. Durham rolls right. Looks over the middle. Finds his target. That was number 25, Robert Holmes.
25 with the reception. That's Robert
As they
You think he's going to loosen the
48-yard line.
defense up a little bit? They're going to go right back to the run game.
Exactly. And
First down, Summit.
I couldn't come up with the words, and you just took them for me. That you get them. They're playing zone. You put up the middle, nice easy throw. Now, if you're Centennial, you have no idea what they're about to do. Same movement as you see. This time it's going to be a toss to Peyton Craig, and he has a hole. Ooh, hit hard there by number 9. That was Coffee, but not before he was able to pick up solid positive yards and pick up another first down for the Spartans. I love the way Craig runs. He has so much speed, and it's like a horse race. Blinders, finds a hole, and just doesn't stop. So many different attributes to all 3 to 5 backs that Summit uses. I don't know, they've used so many, even their own kicker. So first down toss to Peyton Craig, and he lowers that shoulder, looks ahead, finds a hole, just tripped up inside the 10-yard line. That was Wilson. Excuse me, that was number 9, Coffee, on the tackle, able to trip Peyton Craig up. So with Odemegwu going in most to the left, leading that blocking to the left side, able to pick up one and open up that hole for Peyton.
It's amazing how many different plays they can run out of that formation.
And I love seeing number 70, Kobe Davis. Kobe Davis at the offensive line on that last play coming out, leading the block on that big run by Craig. And just after that, he is in for a touchdown in the end zone. Great drive by the senior, Peyton Craig. Well, that was answered quite quickly. So, Durham down to hold. Slogenhoff for the extra point to tie this game up. Ball is down, kick is up. And it is good. Goodness gracious.
This game may turn out to whoever has the ball last is going to win.
Absolutely. Or whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, which right now they each have one as far as turnovers. And as we see on that run, looks like number 23, Pope, for Centennial was able to make it to the backfield, not able to hold on to Craig. And he gets into the end zone. But as I was saying, penalties are the biggest thing with both teams. But I think if there's either one of these teams really turned the ball over that much. I know Centennial did it quite a bit against Hillsborough last week, but they're not really known for it, and neither is Summit. And so I'm going to go off of that and saying I'm not looking for another turnover by any team. It's going to be the mental errors, if any, that may affect who wins this game, as well as, like you said, whoever has the ball last. And that's always the type of football game you want to see. So Summit ties the ball game up with 8 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in this ball game. We're knotted at 27. Schlagenhoff gets his troops in motion and sends it. Little Poocher. Taking it to the right side, bursts up the middle is number 2. That's Trey Carlton, able to get close to the 50-yard line.
Trey Carlton fields the ball at the 35-yard line, slips a couple tackles and gets the ball up to the 49.
So just short of the 50-yard line, at the 48-yard line, the Cougars will get this drive started. Wonder if running back Wilson is tired yet.
He's not showing any signs of it.
Absolutely not. So Stewart has 2 receivers to the left, sends 2 blockers in motion, fakes the pitch to the left, drops back, sets his feet, looks over the middle deep.
Oh my goodness.
And it is caught. Goodness gracious, what a throw and catch. Trey Stewart to number 16, Brady Wee.
What was that, about a 50-yard pass?
That's about a 46-yard pass. Sets his feet. Beautiful pass. Not bad coverage at all by number 4, Szymanski. That ball was just put only where his receiver could catch it, and Brady Wee able to concentrate and bring that ball in. So with the first down and goal play, Wilson runs it to the right, rushed out of bounds. Looks like he might have lost a yard.
Also on the play, number 3, John Casey.
I tell you what, you can barely keep up with what's going on there. Both teams just literally answering the bell, just answering everything that the other throws at them. We have a flag before the second down play.
Illegal participation called against
Looks like maybe too many men on the field. Illegal participation is the call, I believe, on the Cougars. So I believe that's going to be 5 yards.
It's a 5-yard penalty. They put the ball near the 14-yard line.
So ball on the 13-yard line. It is going to be second down and goal. 13, 14 yards to get pay dirt. Wilson takes the toss to the left side. Finds a hole there on the left. Xavier Pickens, number 31, when the Cougar is able to make that hole for Wilson. And Szymanski and Newby for Summit able to bring Wilson down. But 2 plays in a row, the Cougars are going backwards. I hope I didn't jinx them by talking about mental errors. But they've been on both sides, and that's just part of the game.
All right.
So a long second down and goal from the 25-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Stewart's looking that way. Looking for his intended receiver, DeMarcus McLemore. And just kind of, I don't know, that was definitely threw a fastball on that play. Kind of overthrew his receiver there. But as Stewart is showing, he does have that live arm. So we'll see what Centennial draws up. You got 3rd and long, got to get to the end zone. Looks like a nickel look by Summit. They attempt a draw play. It gets broken up in the backfield, but Wilson's able to make something about it. Great illusion by Wilson, able to bring it a lot closer for an easier field goal attempt here for the Cougars. As we see, that's kind of a busted up draw play. Great penetration by Summit defensive front. to get in there as Wilson was able to make something out of nothing as he was brought down by, I believe that was Tavion Hayes. So Crouch with a field goal. It is no good. Big defensive stand by Summit, and big couple penalty calls too working against the Centennial.
Well, you had mentioned that the team that made the least mistakes was going to have the big advantage here. Those penalties just killed that drive for Centennial.
Yeah, and you know, Summit was able to capitalize defensively. You know, had some good stops, good coverages downfield. So, well, folks, we have us a great ball game here. 6 minutes and 48 seconds left to go. We're knotted up at 27. Summit has the ball on the 20-yard line. It's a pitch to the right to Peyton Craig. He finds a hole. And he has finally brought out of bounds, crosses the 50. Brought down by Trey Carlton, saving a touchdown. And Peyton Craig, along with George Odumegwu, having a game. But the senior and Craig showing out with given the opportunity. He's making the most of it tonight. So after the long run, Summit has the ball on the Cougar 42-yard line. Durham sends Odumegwu in motion, gives up the middle to Craig, and he is stopped and keeps going. Kind of met at the line of scrimmage, but powered ahead and was able to get a positive gain, about 3 or 4. Make that 6.
They'll mark it at the 37-yard line, a gain of 5 yards. 3 of them after contact.
So the clock is running, closing in at 6 minutes left to go. Centennial looking for a big defensive stop here. Durham pitches to the right. There's Peyton Craig. He's able to elude the tackler in the backfield and surges ahead to the 25-yard line. Number 9, Coffey, in on the tackle with Sean Hannon.
Both of those names have been called a lot tonight on defense for the Centennial.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned that Centennial has, great athletes on offense. They're proving it on defense too by keeping up with this rushing attack by Summit. And Coach Kreisky from Summit, his last big key was, needing to stay physical with Summit because they are very physical, especially with this running attack. And on plays like that right there, where normally a back like Odumegwu is able to brush off defenders and get through, their front 7, the Cougars have impressed me, and I'm sure everyone in the stadium. And something that Coach Kreisky, I'm sure, is very, very proud about with his team. So after the short 3-yard gain by Odumegwu, 2nd and 7 from the Cougar 22-yard line, Craig takes the pitch to the left, and he is met in the backfield and swung down. And once again, number 40, Hannon.
Near the 20-yard line, number 40, Hannon, the tackler. 3rd down, 6.
So he was able to hold Peyton Craig to just 1 yard. I think right now with the clock moving, 3rd and I would consider 6 long. This is the defensive play of the game for Centennial. How deep Summit is in the red zone or about to the red zone, and the clock in their control. We'll see what we have here. And Peyton Craig going to the right side, makes it to the 15. Makes his way close to the 16. We'll see where the ball is spot, and they have the signal for a 1st down, Spartans.
That's a big first down. Keep the ball in your own red zone.
Exactly. And, you know, once the chains are moved, you know, the clock's running. So like I said, the offense has the clock in their control. They can control what happens now. So Craig up the middle, pushes it to the right side for a yard or two.
Rushing inside, picks up 2 yards. It'll bring up second down.
A few Cougars in there on the tackle, but once again, number 40, Hannon, was one of them. So with the clock running just inside 3.5 minutes left to go, you got to wonder how tired that defense of Centennial is too, with the physicality of the offense that Summit is bringing.
They grind out these long running plays.
That's right. Yeah.
Has to tire out the defense.
As you see on that play right there, they had 9 guys in the box. Like they are almost daring Durham to throw the ball, which knowing Coach Coleman, I doubt he's going to do. But
yeah, I think they'd like to see the clock run, and even if they have to settle for 3, leave the Cougars very little time left on the clock.
Do you really think Coach Coleman's going to settle for 3 points? 3rd and 4 if they don't get it. We'll see what happens. Not to jump ahead as Craig takes it to the right, and he is stuffed for a loss. There on the play by number 26 for the Cougars. That's Ryan Farley. Big, enormous stop there for the defense. So we have 4th down. We have a moving clock going to 2 minutes. And Summit's huddling. So they have the offense on the field. I think they're going to draw them off sides, or attempt to. And then maybe call a timeout and kick a field goal. As they're letting that play clock run down. And we see Coleman jump out and call a timeout. Not a bad idea.
1:30 remaining, 27-27.
Granted, Coach Coleman has a lot up his sleeve, and who knows? He may end up going for it, but he proved me wrong on that one. I think if he got, I think if it was like a 4th and 2, 4th and 1, he might have an easier decision on going for it or not. But with a 2-yard loss, great defense, and if Centennial's defense is tired, they are not showing it at all.
No, Centennial's defense they've been out there a long time, but they're still playing very strong. You almost think these coaches know each other so well, you wonder if they're in each other's heads right now.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I wonder if they're like passing back notes or something, or you know, texting each other there on the sidelines. But here we are. Durham with the hold, slugging off the kick. And the 27-yard field goal is good. All right.
Minute 35 left for the Cougars.
So we have a barn burner here in Thompson Station, Tennessee. Minute 35 left to go. The host, Summit Spartans, able to regain their lead for the first time in the second half. After it started, 30-27. You know, Centennial started this half with the ball, able to score, and did not look back. And just when Summit needed to, they finally found their offensive groove back and are now leading this game. But you know, with the tired defense, you know, you said they've been on the field a while. It's kind of hard to say that their offense is scoring so fast they're not having time to rest on the sidelines, which is a good thing. You want points on the board, but you also want your defense tired. But I don't know any coach that'd rather have their defense rested over points.
Right. Of course, now you're going to have a rested defense Summit defense on the field with arrested offense from.
It's just going to make a great end of the game, great drive.
Right.
And Centennial has something Summit doesn't have or hasn't shown, and that's multiple looks on offense, run, pass. So with the situation intact, Slockenhoff has decided to kick it deep. Ooh, big hit there at the 30-yard line. And that was Wilson on the return. Number 18 for Summit. Sorry, that's 19, Abraham Reyes. Meets head on. Let's see this hit here. It was almost accidental. And it was like, because number 18 Summit, Ashton Liebel kind of tripped Wilson and it met them head on. I'm glad everybody's okay. So after a decent run by Wilson, Centennial gets the ball. Stewart rolling out to the right, fires over the middle. It is caught. Number 8, Ryan Newby, able to stay on his feet, get to the markers to stop the clock momentarily. So it kind of looked like Summit kind of came off the line a little bit more, and Stewart was able to beat the zone. So with 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, Stewart drops back the pass, looks over the right side. It is overthrown, but a flag is down. Oh, goodness.
Flag on the play. Perhaps offensive pass interference. We'll await the official
At the live, seeing it live, it looked like it might have been uncatchable and high. But as they talk about it, the officials, it is going to be pass interference. So let's take a look. The ball is high. It's kind of out of the camera view there, but it definitely looks like the receiver was hit. They ran into each other. It might have been incidental, but that play's going to that call's going to be called every time. So after the penalty, 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Stewart looks to the right, finds his target. Great pass and catch, able to get out of bounds. Not much time left off the clock, or gone off the clock, excuse me.
and out of bounds. The clock stopped with 58 seconds remaining. The ball spotted at the 30.
I believe that was, not sure who caught it. I think it might have been Pope. Nonetheless, we have 1st and 10. Stewart fumbles the snap and is brought down hard by a host of Summit defenders, but first met by number 70, Kobe Davis. Able to follow the play and get in there. A little bit of a low snap. Looks like Stewart kind of got a little excited and wanted to pull that in before he caught it. So Christian Jolly, Newby. Number 33 for Summit, Braden Stem. All of them in there to prevent anything unexpected or crazy happening, because we know Stewart can make something out of nothing that we've seen tonight. So after a solid, fast start on this final possession, or I mean, we don't know that. It may be final possession of this possession for Centennial. Started off strong, and now they face their first set of adversity here with that was a 4-yard loss. So after the timeout by Centennial, 52.9 seconds left to go in this game. Summit holding on to a 3-point lead as Centennial has the ball 2nd and 16 at the 38-yard line. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Running back Wilson to the right. That's a little bubble screen pass to number 22.
Screen pass complete to number 22, Fleming.
It was Fleming.
He has blockers in front of him and carries the ball down inside the 20-yard line.
I don't think anybody here expected that.
Nick Johnson with the tackle.
These coaches are just phenomenal, the way they know the teams, the personnel.
And the way both teams are using their personnel. I mean, they're going to be, how many guys have run the ball for each team? How many guys have caught the ball for each team? It's great. It's just good football. And Stewart drops back to pass, has some pressure, finds a lane up the middle, and he's in for a touchdown. As we mentioned, that dual threat by Trey Stewart. And he uses those legs. And that gives the Cougars 6 points. And until this extra point, they have a 3-point lead. My goodness, what a football game. So Crouch for the extra point. Snap, set, and the kick. It's up and true. This is a barn burner if I've ever seen one, folks. 31.5 seconds left to go in this football game. Centennial has come back, regained the lead, 34-30. As we see Stewart, he tucked that ball. He had nothing else on his mind than to get into that end zone. He tucked his head at the 5-yard line and took one step and dove.
He was not going to be denied on that run.
Not at all. It didn't look like a planned run, but the Centennial, the receivers and the running backs down the field did a good job being aware of what was happening and able to pick up a couple blocks. And that's just, I mean, that's maturity and that's great football smarts. All right.
Are you surprised that there's been 64 points scored in this game so far?
You know, if I was Vegas, I'd say the over-under would have been about 48 to 50. And, but to be honest with you, this is my first time seeing Centennial play in person, but I'm not surprised at the amount of points, as we've seen what both teams have on offense and what both teams are just able to counter. And that just goes back to just these two coaches being so similar to each other. So Crouch with this kickoff sends it deep. Xavion Hayes fumbles it, not able to catch it cleanly, recovers it, and is brought down around the 15-yard line. And yeah, I was waiting for that flag. As going to be looks like a horse collar call, if I'm not mistaken, because that's what I saw there. So they're going to call it a face mask. Nonetheless, 15-yard personal foul. I mean, I'm speechless. You go up 4 points and another penalty on the kickoff. It's so discouraging, but we'll see if the defense of Centennial can stay intact for 23 seconds, and we'll see what Summit can do. We know what they can do. We know what they're capable of doing.
Very capable of scoring anytime they touch the ball.
2 timeouts and 23 seconds left. About 68 yards to go. Durham letting it loose deep down the field and almost intercepted by Centennial.
Downfield, incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Carlton in there on the coverage. Well, while we have a quick moment, a little score update here in Williamson County. Shelbyville 27-14 over Page. Just under 9 minutes left to go in that game. We have a final in Brentwood. The Bruins 49-7 over Marshall County. With just under about a minute and a half left to go in the game. Maplewood over Nolensville 26-13. As we have the second down snap here. Durham looking left, firing deep down the middle once again. and batted down. Almost picked off twice, and both of those, after the deflection, Summit almost caught them.
Right.
And the last score, we have 9.5 minutes left to go. Independence over Memphis East, 41-10. So those are the local games here in the county that we have. Next week, Centennial will be having that very important game against Brentwood to solidify the top spots and winning the region. And Summit will be facing Lincoln County after this wonderful game. So on the third down, it's a draw to Peyton Craig, needing to get out of bounds. Did he make it? He did. Newby and Coffey in on the stop. 9.5 seconds left to go. As I was mentioning, Lincoln County for Summit and Brentwood for Centennial. And WCTV will actually be covering that game. So looking to be the last play of the ball game, 4th and 4. Durham rolling to the left, trying to get loose. And he does, as he keeps going with the first down as the clock hits 0. And Centennial comes back from behind, gets the upset, and overcomes Summit High School. Goodness gracious, folks, what a game as the teams meet at the 50-yard line to shake hands. 34 Centennial 34, Summit 30. Thank you so much for joining us. WCTV Game of the Week, Parker Hazard and Terry Hazard. We'll see you next week.